All right, what's up, YouTube? We are back again with another great video. But anyway, look, listen, you guys are here because, hey, you know, your first video, it might have worked for some, but, you know, it's not working for the rest of us. Some of us are still getting the frame drops and whatnot. Well, look, here, I got a solution for you guys. This is actually going to be quite a few tips. Actually, no, it shouldn't be too many tips, actually. But it will be a few great tips to help you guys enjoy your ROG Zephyrus M a lot better. Because a lot of people are actually going to take it back to the store and get rid of it. But I'm here to save them from their loss of income. But anyway, guys, without further ado, no more joking. We're just going to go straight into it. So what I need you guys to do first and foremost is head on over to Google. I might put the link in the description, but I don't. Yeah, I'll go ahead and do it. I gotta be a good YouTuber now. I have to be a good person. And what I need you guys to do first and foremost is type in RYZEN Ryzen. Okay, as you guys already know, and then type in, as you guys see right here, controller, Ryzen controller, Ryzen controller. You get what I'm saying? So once you do that, I need you guys to go ahead and click enter. And then boom, you guys see, like, you know, you guys see the little purple. It's not blue anymore. So you know that I have clicked it and that it is safe for clickability. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have to go here. We go here. But in all seriousness, guys, just go right here. And then what I need you guys to do is, you could download the beta if you wanted to. It's right here. But what I did is I went to the more stable version because, as you guys know, a lot of times beta stuff just doesn't work as well as you need it to. Unfortunately, well, I do know why, but, you know, yeah, betas just don't work because they're unstable, you know. And I do not know why there is an ant crawling on my screen just now. I just flicked that guy off. Anyway, so yeah, we're going to go ahead and go for the release 2.2.0. And yeah, so let me see real quick. As you guys can see right here, you're just gonna go over here and hit zip, and then boom, you're already good to go. Or you can do the Windows installer, which gives you, you know, it completely installed, but you don't have to do that. I just go ahead and do the zip so I can get rid of it and, you know, into it as fast as possible. And then after that, what I need you guys to do is you go into your folder, you see everything, you're like, hey, there's my Ryzen controller, dude. Like, you know, like, yeah. And if you want, you can go ahead and put the icon down here, like how I have the Ryzen controller. It's going to be the, is that an Omega symbol? I don't think that's an Omega symbol, but whatever. But yeah, so we're going to go ahead and click into the Ryzen controller. We're going to hit yes to let it tamper with our stuff and, you know, maybe hack us, you know. No, I'm just playing. We're going to be good to go. We're going to just go ahead and click into the Ryzen controller. And as you guys can see, you have the temperature limits. So how the Ryzen controller works, let's get rid of this threat because it's not an actual threat. Yeah, so what we're going to do is, as you guys can see right here, you can do like the CPU boosts, CPU yada, 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 yada. But fortunately for this computer, you actually will not have to use a whole lot of settings. See, as you guys can see, you don't really need to use too much because once you change the temperature limit, it's gonna limit how hot the computer can get. You guys understand what I'm saying? Like how much power the computer can use. Now, I don't know the 100% of the specifics. I'm not gonna give that to you either because, you know, I just don't feel like looking it up. But all you need to know is, the hotter the computer, the more energy is being put out. And the hotter your computer gets, the more throttling or bottlenecking that you'll get, or whatever it's called. The lower it gets, the better off your computer is. But you will have to deal with the fact that the lower the temperature, you won't be able to hit frames per second, like 120 frames per second and whatnot. You will only be able to hit up to about, say if you go down to about, let's say, 70 degrees. If you only get up to 70 degrees, you'll be at 60 60 frames per second or lower. But other than that, once you reach 80 let's go say about 85. 85 that's when you're able to actually get up to about 120 frames per second. Anything higher than that, you will be in the 120 frames per second range, and you will be able to actually run your 120 frames per second smoothly. You will have no issues like when it comes to dropping, like frame drops, etc. Nothing like that. I usually play around, depending on the game, like for Warframe, I play at around 85. It doesn't really need too much. And for games like maybe like Fortnite, I'll play like 94. So yeah, that is one way. And then once you're done with that, you go ahead and hit apply, and then it applies it. But the only thing is, when it comes to the Ryzen controller, you will need to keep the Ryzen controller up. You can't close out of it. It won't just change your settings. You know what I'm saying? Like, it has to stay up for the changes to be in effect. So right after that, that's our first solution that we can do. After that, I have another solution. I'm sure you guys are already familiar with this solution. And what you want to do is go into your GeForce experience. And once you're into your GeForce experience, you want to go ahead and go into settings. My bad. So what you want to do is, once you get into GeForce experience, you want to go ahead and go over to games. Once you're in games, you want to go over here to optimal playable settings. So basically, it'll optimize your game that you're playing best suited for your computer, so that you won't have any issues when it comes to, your frames dropping, yada, yada, yada. It's going to optimize it for the best way for your computer. Now, also what you would like to do is whisper mode. Now, what whisper mode does is, so it makes your plugged in laptop run quieter while gaming. So what that basically does is, it limits your computer. Basically, I believe it limits your computer to about 60 frames per second. It says that you can go in there and change it, but I've gone in there and changed it, and it stayed at 60 frames per second, no matter what the game was. So what I suggest for you guys to do is, if you want a smooth experience and no sort of like frame drops or anything like that, go ahead and click that whisper mode on. I don't like that because I actually like to run my games in higher than 60 frames per second. I like to play my games at 120 frames per second. But if you want that smooth experience, this is another way for you. Okay, what you guys want to do is, you want to go ahead and head back into our, I'm going into my audio. You want to go over here into NVIDIA settings and just click it this time. And I actually have, and for this is what it seems like for my computer. I have the optimal settings. Have not had any sort of issues whatsoever when it comes to my computer since updating my BIOS and changing everything in there. So what you want to do is first go to the just image settings with preview, of course. And what I do is I just say use the advanced image settings. If you're still having issues, then I go ahead and choose. I offer to you to go ahead and choose the use my preference emphasizing performance, because once you do that, a lot of your qualities will diminish, but the overall performance of your computer will be enhanced. So yeah, after that, what we can do is we'll go over here into the manage 3D settings. So once you go into manage 3D settings, you want to go ahead and hit this preferred graphics processor. You want to go ahead and hit high performance. Using integrated graphics, it doesn't really work whatsoever, and it auto select. Yeah. So what you want to do is hit high performance NVIDIA processor. Then after that, I want you guys to go ahead and click these settings. First, I have image sharpening at 0.50. Ignore film grain 0.17. And then I have the ambient occlusion off. I have anisotropic filtering. Have that at 16 times. It doesn't actually hinder you being at 16 times, which is actually kind of confusing, but it's whatever. Anti-aliasing, you got to turn that off. The FX8A. Then the gamma correction, you got to turn that off. Application controlled, you want to go ahead and, anti-aliasing mode. My bad. Sorry, guys. I had a little fart in my brain. Anti-aliasing mode, you want to put that on application controlled. And then, yeah. Anti-aliasing transparency, keep that off. CUDA, Barracuda. Anyway, GPU, keep that on all. Then low latency mode, keep that on off. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and go into a solo. Oh man, they brought back solid gold. I'm gonna have to put a video out on that. But yeah, we're just gonna see and like just test it and see how everything's working out. You guys get what I'm saying? So right now I have my whatchamacallit, my Ryzen controller. I have my temperature set at 94 degrees, and that might not be high enough for Fortnite to drop 100 smooth, 120 smooth, but it is enough to be above 110. So I'm just gonna go get this weapon first. Oh snap! I haven't played Fortnite in a minute, so I'm a little rusty. You know what I'm saying? All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and put this up to about, let's put it at 105. Yeah. And then you'll start seeing an increase in the frames. See if we can get some of these people over here. They look like bots, I'm not gonna lie to you. Let's